get the same, because we can't, the three of us together can't outpull him if he really wanted to go somewhere. And so that snap of the rope, and then it gets to the point where it just becomes that, and they take a step back. Now they're not always going to respond that quickly, you know, he just happened to. Yeah,
he is a quick learner, but he forgets.
Yeah.
And he needs that reminder.
Yeah. He just seems like he's just kind of there, you know. I didn't mean to do it. Yeah, you know.
No, it's probably him. You want me? Okay, here I am.
Good, that was much better. He stopped with me that time. But even then, the sniff in the ground, they don't get to put pressure on my rope. So if there's pressure on my rope, it's going to be because I'm giving them a correction. So forward, backward, sideways, whatever, they don't get to put pressure on my rope. Same thing goes when I have them tied up. When I'm tying a horse, I don't let them stand at the back of that rope. I send them forward. You know, cross ties are a little different. It's a different kind of pressure, but when I have them straight tied, they don't get to make pressure on the rope at any time. The rope should always be loose. They should be moving, good boy, off of our body pressure, or body language.
So if you have a horse that doesn't want to walk next to you, you know, and doesn't want to like listen to that, you know, how you speed up or you slow down, what is your correction for that?
Just doing it over and over. So if he's getting in front of me, which I don't think he's going to do, but if he get out in front of me, I'm going to keep walking, but I'm going to pop, 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 pop until they actually take a step behind me while I'm still walking forward. If they're dragging behind me, which he may be more likely to do, it's hand is forward, and then just swing back here until he comes up here, takes that pressure off of the rope. I don't know what he saw. Saw something. We want, there, he went forward, took the pressure off the rope. So my hand is forward, swinging him up. Good boy, until he takes pressure off the rope. And he's being willing, so it's not showing as obvious right now. It makes it hard to show. If he's over there pulling away from me, you know, I'm trying to lead, and he's over there, it's going to be, you know, bump, 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 coming towards me. Some people get confused when I say the jerky, and they'll be trying to pull the horse forward, and they're like doing this, trying to pull the horse forward. Well, no, don't do that. That's not how we make the horse come forward. That is just a steady pressure until they give to it, and then we release it. And maybe we have to drive them forward as we have that steady pressure, just like at the mounting block, left hand forward, and then I was swinging at Max to make him come forward. Yeah, this guy, the other two, or even Nico, were a little bit quicker to respond. He's not doing it out of disobedience. He's just kind of like, and I don't mean this in bad way, he's just kind of like, you know, he's just kind of there. He's not aware that we're asking him to do something different. So kind of like what you said to start with. It's not that he's trying to be naughty. He is already learning it very quickly, but like I said, it just goes away as soon as we stop asking. So he's one that's going to be a little bit harder to get through to. And just by working him one time, I can't necessarily give you a specific game plan. This is one where I'd have to try different things. You know, if he was with me, I'd work him a little bit different way each day and see what got his attention, what seemed to work. Sometimes it's just doing the same thing several days in a row to get, you know, the point across. But try to do it in places that's going to encourage the bad behavior, or he's going to try to drag on you or get in front of you or whatever. Not just always in the round pen, because this is too much of a controlled environment. You know, take him for walks out past the other pastures. Now, if he's out of control in here, then no, don't go lead him past the pasture of mares or something. You know, you got to make sure you have at least enough. Hey, pay attention. But yeah, I would either want the rope halter or a web halter a little lower, or maybe even just a little crop. You know, something he needs a little more sting to it. You know, just to get his attention. It smells so good out here.
He's loving it.
This is great. You know, more of a horse that's acting on like instinct rather than using the thinking part of his brain. You know, the minis were very much like the wheels were rolling. You know, they were thinking the whole time. Thinking if they were gonna try to misbehave or thinking if they were gonna do the right thing. You know, it wasn't always good, but they were thinking. He's just kind of, you know, instinct and hormones are gonna tell him what to do, not a whole lot of the extra brain thinking of what to do. So he will be a little bit harder. Doesn't mean that he can't eventually get there, but he's gonna be a little bit harder. He's gonna be more dragging on you, so it's gonna take longer to correct that. Not his fault, it's just the way, just the way he is, you know. But it's lots of little things like this where you're just trying to correct him all the time and not nitpicking, but constantly saying, this is where I want you to be. You have to stay there. So, you know, maybe they're, you know, doing the manure spreader and you walk out there and stand 50 feet away and you just stand in one spot where there's distraction, but you want him to stand there out of your space, feet still, and just simply be there, and you just keep asking the same thing over and over and over until he kind of gets bored and says, okay, fine, and then you go either put him away or go find something else. You know, a lot of horses, I'd go out in the arena at Willow Tree, you know, horses that didn't want to stand still, didn't want to stay out of my space, I'd sit on the mounting block while other people were riding, and I'd sit there until they just went, okay, I'll sit here with you, Wendy. You know, and they didn't want to, because they'd run circles, or not run, but go circles around the block. They'd be bumping into me, and I would just sit here, me staying exact constant, and just keep, like he's pulling on me, so a little correction. I don't really want him sniffing the ground because he's not paying attention to me while he's doing that. You know, now he's kind of getting in front of me a little bit. You know, I want him to just sit here next to me. No touching. You know, so it's going to be constant. And we're not mad at him. I'm not like, oh no, go get off of me. But I'm going to keep saying no, 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 no. To where he's going to go back to the herd and go, I have a new name today. My name is No. Or whatever. You can go, or quit, or, you know, whatever comes out, you know. And just the point where he just can be content to be out of your bubble. Because at the same time, while he's slow to respond, it's like his brain isn't slowing down. His brain is in 14 different directions. I have to look over here, and I have to sniff over here, and I have to scratch this, and I have to, you know. So even though he's slow to respond and kind of heavy on us, his brain is not here in the moment either. And so we want him to just bring his brain to a halt as well. The feet are halted, but the brain is not halted. Hey, hey. Oh boy. And some horses have the brain doing that and the feet, you know. So it's not as bad as if it was, you know, but, you know, he should be able to just be content. And this right here might even be, I mean, I don't know if he would do it if there's not other people, you know, if you guys weren't standing here watch, I don't know, but you might get away with just doing it in here without anybody else out here. Or you might have to go take the block out where there is something else to look at. But, and so it seems like I'm, you know, constantly, but it's because he's constantly not where he's supposed to be. No, you don't get to be in my face. Sniffing the ground.
Is this how you teach them to? Is this how you teach them to tie too?
Oh sure.
Be tied up.
Yeah, I mean it's the idea of just being in one spot. Sure.
Right.
Yep.
Because we have some mares that are not very good at tying, you know, of standing still.
Okay. Yep. I like to just tie them up. Try to have other horses around, because they're going to be more frantic if they're all by themselves anyhow. Try to have other horses around, and I just tie them up while I'm sweeping the aisle, or cleaning stalls, or packing up another horse, whatever, and just leave them there until they're quiet. And as soon as I see them quiet, boom, I get them and turn them loose, or put them back in the stall, or whatever it is that they would be doing, you know. And sometimes that's 15 minutes, sometimes it's 3 hours, you know, whatever.
What happens if they're like rearing up and all that?
I pretty much ignore it. As long as they're not pulling back, trying to get to the point where they're going to break something, I just ignore the behavior. Because if my thing is, if you can't make them stop it, you don't give them attention for it.
Do you have it really tight so that they can't move too much, or do you have it kind of loose?
No, about 1.5 feet probably, yeah. And I just leave them there, and you have to be close enough where you can see what's going on if they get in trouble, you know, and certainly have your safety knot and, you know, all that kind of stuff. No, keep your mouth up, no. So yeah, he's got a very busy brain, which is kind of surprising for as dull of a response we get. But yeah, so I would say all this bad behavior is because his brain just can't. So he's like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this. Okay, I mean, he just, you know, you say no to one thing, so he tries the next. And so he just needs some time of just simply, and this is better right here, see, for 2.5 seconds.
Right.
He was in one spot, and so that's good. That's the first pause that we've had, you know? And 2.5 seconds is a lot, but when we didn't have anything, it is. Ooh, good boy. Good boy. And he can be looking somewhere as long as he's still. He doesn't have to be stoic and be a statue. He can be looking out there, even turn his head looking out there, as long as he's still. But he's doing, this, Good boy. So see, we're getting there. Good boy. Good boy. You can be still. Good job, buddy. And then like that, I would quit with that part of the session. He stood there for probably 10 seconds.
You hit it again. So.